I wanted to start by following up on our surfactant talk briefly.
Yes,
You actually did watch the video. I'm
I
sorry,
did.
but you
I
did watch
did.
the video.
I did, and you did a really good job. I have to give you kudos on how you put that together and wait. So good job, sir,
It was as
for that.
scientific as I could make it happen.
No, it was
So
super. No, it was. It was. I was like, wow, he's taking this super seriously right now because this is like serious scientific work we're doing here.
I am taking this seriously. But here's the before I give the audience and yourself kind of these are not my final results because I think this is going to be an longer term process.
Okay.
But before I give kind of my real feelings about what I heard, said, and did, what did you hear? Did you hear a big difference between my old-fashioned distilled water and rubbing alcohol mix versus the addition of surfactant?
Not really, maybe a little bit, but I kind of put a lot of that to okay, it might be because I'm hearing it through compression through YouTube. You know, you're recording it and then you're encoding it and then YouTube's re-encoding it. So I'm like, maybe it sounds better in real life, but I didn't hear a huge difference.
Nope.
Maybe a 1% different. Maybe
with the addition
if you
of
want me
the
to put a
benefit of what
percentage on it.
with the addition of the benefit of what you said about me being able to hear it as actual wave files with headphones and things, I
Right.
would say the difference is maybe more 5%.
Okay. All right.
But it was there, but only in a few specific cases that I could really call out. And then in general, it was just a very minor lift in overall cleanliness and sound. So it wasn't that there was nothing, but there was only a few points. There was one specific point in that Flash Beagle record of all things. And then there was one specific point or two specific points in the opera record. That opera record in particular was the one that in my headphones between the unclean version and my clean first clean was dramatic.
Uh-huh.
And between
That's
the
the one
first
that I
clean and the second clean was dramatic. Specifically in a few areas where the opera singer, the enunciation of the opera singer actually started showing up in the wave file in a way that had not existed in the version. It was small, it was minor, but you
right.
heard the difference of the way he actually closed a T or something like that that didn't exist in the recording prior to it. So
Okay.
that
Okay.
one and then one area of Flash Beagle in particular was enough to get me to go, okay, so we're just going to do this now. My big question, though, is the problem, if there's a problem, because ultimately I think the good news is my old-fashioned cleaner does wonders, and it's
Right.
easy, and everyone should be doing it, and most people do anyway. So, hey, what
Yeah.
you're doing is probably fine, I think, is the end result here. But
Keep
if you
doing
do
what you're
want to
doing.
go that extra step, is the problem simply that I'm still using a rag and wipe method? Ultimately, is the surfactant able to get in clean, but not really do much difference because I'm using a rag as opposed to, say, like an ultrasonic solution? So is the answer maybe use surfactant for sure, it'll make a big difference if you are using an ultrasonic? Or if you're the majority that still just use wipes and rags and things like that, should you just not bother?
I mean, if you look at the science behind the whole surfactant, if you really dig into it, which I have, and it's kind of boring to be honest, but I have looked at the science of a surfactant, and you are going to get better results if you're using like an ultrasonic type machine or like a degritter or something like that. Some machine that is going to get your water swirling and have your record going in the water as it's swirling. The surfactant is going to help that water get into those grooves better than probably what you can do just doing it by hand.
Yeah.
So I would probably say if you're using a machine, definitely use the surfactant 100%. I think you're still getting results out of it, even just doing it by hand. but I think you're going to get a better result if you use a machine. I'll put it that way.
Here was my other ultra nerdy thought about this, though, and a topic that really is an ultra nerdy topic that I need to do because of kind of my obsession and passion. And that is, so if I need to clean surfactant cleaner with a second distilled water plain wash down, a rinse, then how can the rinse get into the grooves of the record to clean out the surfactant that gets inside of it?
Oh my God, I never thought about that. You just blew my mind with that. Oh my God, I know. Yeah, I don't know, but see, everything I've read and watched, they say if you use surfactant, you need to do a rinse too. And that I never thought of it, but how does that work?
So I posited this to my son, and I think he came up with a decent solution, which is that maybe any remaining surfactant would bond on its way across, right? Because it'll be in there. So perhaps the surfactant will be able to get reached by the distilled water because it's surfactant. And so as you're wiping the distilled water across, perhaps you're able to pick up the surfactant on the way across.
That would make sense.
It's a good theory. It's a really good theory.
Yeah, no, it is. That's a very solid theory.
Yeah.
But I'm like, how would you actually go about proving that?